Hi, my name is Rob Sparrow. I'm director of Bloody Murder 2. I think Bloody Murder is one of those great summer camp movies. It's a great summer fun movie filled with thrills and chills and lots of surprising twists and turns and some classic horror effects. And I think most audiences, kids especially, really enjoy this. I think one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the opening scene, the dream sequence, starring Katie Woodruff, who plays Tracy. We shot up in Idlewild, California, early winter. It was actually supposed to be a summer camp movie, turned into a kind of a winter camp experience for all of us. And I've learned doing movies that the best thing to do is say, okay, this is what exists, how can I exploit it to our advantage? I decided to shoot that opening dream sequence in the snow, which gave it a great edge, and I think it's not quite what you expect for a movie called Bloody Murder 2, The Closing of Camp.
Hi, I'm Katie Woodruff, and we're up here in the dark, spooky woods shooting Bloody Murder 2 Closing Camp. I play Tracy, and Tracy's got some issues. Her brother got killed up here about 5 years ago, and I'm feeling a little scared.
Marker.
And action. We had some leaf blowers. We had, actually, we didn't have a smoker, again, because we were so far away and didn't have to carry it, that we just lit a little fire that carried around in a bucket. And then in the background, again, we had very few lamps, so we just had guys running back and forth to kind of let the backgrounds move on her, also to create some sense of it being surreal.
This is my first movie, so I don't really know a lot about all the technicalities of it, but our director keeps on handing everybody guns and knives, and
Action.
I haven't gotten mine yet, and I'm just wondering when all this craziness breaks out, how am I going to defend myself? All I can say is lock your doors.
Katie Woodruff brought to the role a sense of enthusiasm and commitment to actually making it all work.
Hi, I'm Tyler Sedestein. I play the role of Jason.
Jason?
You shouldn't be here. I'm kind of the sacrificial lamb that gets the whole movie going.
And action.
He won't let me.
A little bit of blood, trickle. The big payoff, I think, the punctuation, is something you don't necessarily expect because you've been moving so slowly at that point, is the chainsaw. We designed a chainsaw that would create the illusion that it was just, but I think the most important thing with the gag is the details. The smoke that comes out from around the chainsaw itself, the blood being shot out of the chainsaw, then bits of flesh type particles just shooting out. All those little details add to it. The biggest thing is the surprise. I don't think we could ever expect that to happen and we get caught by surprise. And we want to make sure the viewer is watching at that point, which I think they are.
Hi, I'm Kelly Gunning, and I am playing Mike, and I'm Tracy's boyfriend. You know I'm here for you.
Kelly's got this great kind of James Dean simplicity about him. He has this kind of implosive energy that draws the audience in. He's likable, he's sympathetic, and you really kind of just attach yourself to him immediately.
It's Rick.
Hey, my name is Arthur Benjamin, and I am playing Rick in this film. And Rick is the head counselor. He's kind of an odd guy, he's got a weird jealous thing for one of the campers. He's kind of into one of the counselor's girlfriends. And, at the beginning of the film, he starts a fight with this guy.
As I was saying,
Arthur Benjamin, who plays Rick, I think what he really pulled off well is also that kind of dual, is he the killer or isn't he the killer? I think that's a very delicate line to travel well and not tip your hand one way or the other and do it credibly without being deliberately misleading.
sorry, it won't happen again. It's just like the leaf blower.
Why are you always on my ass?
Because you're a screw-up.
What'd you say?
You heard me.
So what are you gonna do, Rick, huh? You gonna fire me?
I'm not impressed with your macho bullshit like your little girlfriend.
Hey, I'm Tom, and I'm playing the part of Ryan in this nice little horror flick we got going here. Let me tell you a little bit about Ryan. I'm a bit of a badass, I guess you could say.
The great thing about Tom was that he really kind of captured that kind of rebellious, hard to deal with an attitude, but he's got this great kind of angelic face, and still he kind of had the necessary edge, so you have that he is the black force in that little group, but at the same time he's someone you just get drawn to and like with a sense of humor.
Okay, sports fans, it's time for a little game of
bloody murder.
19,000, 21,000.
The conflict between the James character and the Ryan character begins around the campfire when Ryan tells the myth of Trevor Morehouse, and the James character one-ups him and says, well, that's true in every summer camp. There's always a Trevor Morehouse, a psychopath in the woods. And Ryan finds it really insulting, and he says, well, let's play a game of bloody murder. Bloody Murder is just a horror film equivalent of hide and seek. And they actually play a practical joke on James. My character gets all bloodied up, and the Ryan character goes off and gets dressed in a mask and comes out as Trevor Morehouse, and James gets scared, he falls to the ground, and they have a great laugh at his expense.
That was beautiful with the blood. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Trevor Morehouse! Oh my God!
James Carr then insults Ryan, and there's a physical altercation with James actually getting the best of Ryan, throwing him to the ground, and it's insulting to Ryan in front of his girlfriend. So we're really setting up as a red herring the possibility that Ryan is the killer.
Oh, come on, man!
Hey, break it up, you guys! Break it up! You're dead, you little fucker! Break it up!
Get your little friend out of here before he gets hurt.
Easy!
Hello, I'm Amanda McGarrian. About 4 months ago, I was a figure skater and kind of had a change of plans, and now I'm acting and starring in this movie. You okay?
I think what I liked best about Amanda's interpretation of Sophie was that you really sensed she cared.
Jesus, you guys are so insensitive.
What?
What? Don't play innocent. You knew exactly what you were doing.
It's been interesting playing somebody else, for sure. A little difficult at times, but it's been fun and exciting, and kind of hoping to live through this all and be able to tell people about it.
How's everybody doing? I'm Ray Smith. I play the role of Elvis. Many of you watching probably think I die first, but you gotta stay tuned and check it out. I am the token black man in the movie.
You think a guy like me would be hanging around for much longer?
What do you mean a guy like you?
A black man. Everybody knows black guys get it first in horror movies. It's like horror films 101.
Ray, who plays Elvis, his death in the public bathroom was the first death that we shot. And Ray brought such a gruesome reality to it. And you really believed he was being knifed to death by someone he didn't know in a public restroom.
We got a lot of work over the next few days before we lock this place down, so I have arranged for an extra set of hands. I want you all to meet James. He's an old family friend.
Hey, everybody. My name's Lane Anderson, and I'm playing the role of James. James is on his way to USC on a full-ride scholarship, but I did promise a family friend that I'd help out at summer camp, and that's where I am right here.
James goes off and spends some time by himself at the fire. He hears someone kind of following him. He believes it's the guys playing yet another practical joke, and he just starts off into the woods back to the campsite, and then the Trevor Morehouse character appears. So we're not sure if it's Ryan or not, and neither is James, who's a little nervous, but he still believes it's Ryan behind the mask, and he just insults him and turns to walk off, and then the bloodletting begins. I think this scene is one of the most graphic scenes in the entire film as we watch this young man get dismembered and try to crawl away. Much of the hitting, though, happens and the slicing happens off camera, which I think is as powerful as the hits you see on camera. We just want to establish with those few machete chops what's happening to achieve a sense of credibility with James' legs being chopped off. We just did some molds, and I think the trickiest part of the legs, it's not even tricky, it's just I think the details always play. I think there are hairs placed one at a time in the legs themselves, and the details with any kinds of lesions or abrasions or pimples, anything to give it a real sense of detail. Once the legs come off and James is kind of crawling past them, the punctuation for the scene, for that leg sequence for me, obviously, is him actually crawling away with both the stumps of his legs. And the way we achieved it, it is actually a harness that is attached to the actor's torso and had him just kind of crawl by several times to create the illusion. One shot that occurred to me I thought would be real horrific is to actually see him crawl by one of his own appendages. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to just have the killer kind of lift the leg, kind of examine it as his trophy, and kind of picks it up, studies it, and then tosses it off, and it kind of lands to his side, and James' character, as it goes up, sees it, which then leads us to the coup de grace in the scene, is with the Trevor Morris character actually crushing James's head. Another mold is taken to the actor's face, and is a very fragile wax sculpture that's just filled with all kinds of blood and cow brains and gushy matter. And it's really just a matter of putting the head in place, dressing the shoulder area. I think we ran 3 cameras at varying speeds, and then just have Trevor's hands come in the frame and smash the head, and it all works really well. The death I find most unnerving is Ryan's, because of the horror of knowing you're about to die, being aware of it, and watching yourself be buried alive. The horror gag itself is very basic. It's actually achieved mostly with a jump cut. We shoot a medium shot of him turning his head right before the arrow strikes, so that when we actually cut to a shot of him with the arrow already in his neck, that will help to mask the cut. Then we went back later and added a CGI arrow, and then a big part of that gag is the sound. It really sells it for you.
I'm Tiffany Shepis, and yeah, it was definitely typecasting. I play Angela, the camp slut.
Tiffany, in the audition, just absolutely floored us, because she has that kind of great sensuality about her. She's quirky, she's got a great sense of humor, and I think it's hard to find actors who have that kind of direct communication with the camera.
Everything's groovy. It's really cool up here. And the thing that's kind of scary is that they're kind of taking this is kind of like maybe like a Soderbergh like method type approach. It's like method filmmaking, right? Because they have us tucked away in little cabins, just like we're camping, just like closing camp and all this stuff. They got wake-up calls for us and everything, and it's kind of eerie. So we wake up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're shooting till like 3 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Dinner time is at like 3:30 in the morning.
Potato soup, some chili, beans. It's dinner.
The schedule's always changing. I don't know what they're up to. I don't know. It's scary.